So much. Let me go to Mr. Swamy, Member of Parliament in India, for his comments on what should be done to promote the authority and representation of BRICS as a very influential bloc among all other platforms. Hello, Mr. Swamy. Now, China is accused by Indians of trying to invite its own allies to dilute the role that India could play. Now, for the Chinese, this sounds more like a conspiracy theory, and we don't take it very seriously. I'd like to take your advice about how we should view the future of BRICS properly.
Well, I think, first of all, I don't know whether I've heard anybody officially say this, that this is a conspiracy or the Indian authorities being diluted. But I do know that we do have differences just now, and there's been a lot of verbal exchange at the media level. I think BRICS should expand, but it should not lead to intra-country conflict, and therefore perhaps if the choice of countries is done by unanimity, that all 5 countries agreeing, then additional membership would not pose a problem. The problem really would arise if it's not unanimous and some country comes in by majority vote. I think that would create problems.
You know, there's a popular saying here in the Chinese media: dialogue is always far better than confrontation between the United States and China. I think this should also be applied to the fragile relationship at this moment between our 2 major economies. Having said this, what do you think of the impact of having a very good, constructive relationship between New Delhi and Beijing for the rest of the world? I mean, we are the most populous and the most dynamic economy, and of course yours is fast catching up. What do you think of an elephant and a dragon joining hand to deliver a real and huge impact? What does that mean for you from your perspective?
Well, you know, I've been always an advocate of very strong relations between India and China. In fact, right in 1978, when I was a very young member of parliament, the Prime Minister chose me, then Prime Minister Mr. Desai chose me to go to make the first trip to China after official trip after 1962, and since then I've always been advocating that the 2 principal countries which can make a big difference to global security is if India and China come together, and we need to work out our differences by negotiations. So I think let's remember that when India and China got together in Stockholm on the environment conference, the Americans had to back down. I mean, that's the power of the 2 of us coming together, and we need to do that more often.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swamy, the Member of Parliament from India.